Hello everyone, it's Hunter and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, it's so nice to meet you. Today we are cozy on the couch because I am going to be talking about the books I read in January. So I'm just sitting down, giving you guys a recap, kind of telling you guys how I felt about it, a brief review. We're just going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're going to pull up Goodreads. The first book I read is So That Happened by Katie Bailey, and this was a really sweet closed door romance. I love closed door romance. They're my favorite. Annie is moving from Boston to Atlanta and something happens with her flight home, so she has to share a room with a random stranger because for some reason the hotel thought that they were together, so they end up having to share a bed, and it's completely innocent, but they wake up the next morning and they go home, and then she realizes that that was like a really weird situation, but she just like wants to get it out of her mind. She shows up to her new job on Monday, and of course the stranger that she shared a bed with is her new boss. So this is kind of like I don't know, it's like enemies to lovers, forced proximity, boss, whatever. I thought it was really cute, so I gave this one 5 stars. Also, I wanted to point out I am very generous when I give stars, so just keep that in the back of your mind. The next book does require a trigger warning for suicide. This one is called Suicide Notes, and this is by Michael Thomas Ford. I gave it 4 stars. It's about a 15-year-old kid who wakes up on New Year's Day to find himself in the psychiatric ward after he tried to end his own life. And it kind of just goes through his 45 days in this hospital, talking with other people in the hospital, other patients, kind of learning about why he's there. And it was really sad, but also it was very hopeful. So I really liked it. It was a young adult novel, so nothing was too graphic, but it, like I said, it was very hopeful toward the end. The next book I read, I actually have a physical copy of. It is The Layover by Lacey Walden, and this is about Ava. She is a flight attendant, and she's decided that she is quitting, so she's going on her last flight to Belize, and then she realizes she is stuck flying with her enemy, and then something happens with the plane and they are forced to have an extended layover in Belize. And during this whole trip, she can't decide if she wants to actually quit or if she's quitting for the wrong reasons. So I thought this was really cute. It was a cute romance. I can't remember. I think this was, I don't know if this was entirely closed door, but it wasn't like spicy or anything. So I really enjoyed this and it was really cute. Also, the cover is gorgeous, although reading this in January probably wasn't the best idea because I want it to be summer now. The next book is The Sorority Murder by Reagan Merritt, and I gave this one 5 stars. This one is about a kid, Lucas, who starts to do a podcast related to a murder that happened in a sorority his freshman year of college. He knew the girl that was murdered, so he is doing a podcast for his senior thesis to see if he can solve these murders, interview students who are on campus at the time, anybody who might know anything, to get some hints. Basically just try to solve what has become a cold case. So I really enjoyed this one. I thought it played out really well, and I thought that there was a twist at the end, which I really liked. Okay, the next book is called After Dark by Minka Kent, and in my opinion, she is the queen of psychological thrillers. We have Afton. She is living with her grandmother. She is the night shift manager at a motel, and she struggles to sleep during the day, so she's not sleeping very well, and she has come upon some new wealth, so she is trying to deal with that wealth and also trying to help her best friend escape an abusive husband. Only things are not what they seem, and the twist is actually crazy. Like, I was not seeing that coming. It was only halfway through the book when you like get this major twist, but it was so good and completely unexpected, and I don't know why I didn't expect it, because Minka Kent is like famous for these psychological twists, but I still thought it was just like genius. The next book I read was Right Man, Right Time by Megan Quinn, and this is book number 3 of the Vancouver Agitators, and this is about, what are their names? Of course, the description doesn't have their names. I can't remember. Ollie and Silas. Ollie runs into her ex in public and says she has a boyfriend, so she finds a random guy and kisses him. His name is Silas, and the rest is history. Fake relationship. You know you love a fake relationship. However, I gave this book only 3 stars because it was so spicy. Like, my normal comfort level for spice is like pretty low. Like I love a closed door romance. They're my favorite. Maybe like 1 to 2 like little chili peppers on a scale of 1 to 5, but this one was like way spicier than anything I'd ever read before. And the only reason I continued it was because I had read the first 2 books in the series and I wanted to continue the series. I thought maybe this book was just like a one-off super duper spicy one, but there were parts that I definitely had to skim over just because I felt like the spicy scenes were very, very graphic and detailed, and I do not like that at all. So like I said, I definitely skimmed over some things, but was not a huge fan of the spice level. The next one is The Marriage Lie by Kimberly Bell, and I really liked this one. I gave it 5 stars. Okay, so Iris and Will have just celebrated their 7th wedding anniversary, and Will is about to go to Orlando for a conference when she finds out that a plane on its way to Seattle has crashed that left the airport that her husband was in. So they were leaving, he was leaving from Atlanta. He was supposed to go to Orlando, and this plane leaving from Atlanta was going to Seattle, and it crashed somewhere in the Midwest, and every passenger was presumed dead on this flight. And she gets a call from the airline telling her that her husband unfortunately was on the manifest for this flight and he is presumed dead. And then she starts to question everything about their relationship, about who he is and everything that he's told her about himself, why he was going to Seattle in the first place, and it was really good. I thought it was definitely unexpected, so I was a big fan. The next book was He's Not My Type by Megan Quinn. This is number 4 in the Vancouver Agitator series, and I gave this one 4 stars because I did like it a little better than the other one. I'd say this one was like pretty tame in terms of like spice level until you get to like 60% of the book, and then I feel like it was literally just spicy scene after spicy scene after spicy scene. I definitely skimmed through a lot of the last 40% of the book, and honestly for me, like if there's gonna be spice in the book, I want it to be like 1 or 2 scenes, but I don't want it to be like almost half of the book. Again, I finished it because I started it and I liked the couple, but it's about this guy, what is his name? His name is Halsey. He's been crushing on Blakely for so long, and Blakely finally breaks up with her boyfriend, and there's an opening for Halsey to sweep in and save the day. So that's pretty much all I've got without giving anything away, but it was so spicy. I was not expecting it, and if there's any other books, I know there will be other books because it's based on each like character that's like a main character in the book. So I'm not going to continue reading the series just because that one was also super spicy, so I'm thinking the rest of the series is also going to be just like that. Okay, next is Keep Your Friends Close by Lucinda Berry, and this one is about the president of a mom's club ends up dead after drowning in a pool at a party, and everyone there is now a suspect. Basically, they're going through the story trying to figure out who killed her and why, what was the motive, and you learn the plots. Like the plot includes like secrets from every single mom in this group, and there were some of them that like was completely unexpected. So I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I love Lucinda Berry. I feel like she normally does more psychological thrillers, but this one was more of like a domestic thriller, but either way, I was a big fan. Next is Hedging Your Bets by Jane Denker, and I actually read the first book in this series, and I didn't even realize this was part of a series, but it is an opposites attract, enemies to lovers. So Jillian is divorced, she's unhappy, she's trying to date, so she's going on a lot of apps with dates with guys from dating apps, and then her next door neighbor is this hot guy that moves in next door. What is his name? I can literally never remember any character's name ever. But Noah moves in next door, and they kind of feud over this garden that's in her backyard. There's like a garden contest and all this stuff. I gave this one 3 stars because if I'm being honest, I felt like the beginning was probably pretty boring, and the second half I felt like, because you know, enemies to lovers, so obviously you know they're gonna get together, I felt like it was kind of rushed, if that makes sense. So I feel like I don't know, I felt like there wasn't like a whole lot of like tension build up to it. I feel like they were just like enemies and they went straight to lovers. There was no like tension within their relationship. I don't know if it's because I listened to it instead of read it. I don't know. 3 stars. Sorry, I feel bad. Okay, and then the next 6 books are all part of a series called the Improbable Meet Cute series, and these are Amazon original stories. These are like short story novella type things, so some of them are probably like no more than 100 pages. I'd say overall it took about 6 hours to read all of them. I didn't read them all at one time, but I really liked them. All of these books are about couples who meet in an unexpected way. I would say that there's a common theme, that it's like irony is like a common theme among them. So like two couples run into each other, it's like coincidence kind of things. I don't know, but I really liked them. I gave them all 5 stars. There is The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren, Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez, Drop, Cover, and Hold On by Jasmine Gilroy, Rosie and the Dreamboat by Sally Thorne, With Any Luck by Ashley Poston, and Royal Valentine by Soraya Wilson. My favorite one of these was Rosie and the Dreamboat. I felt like that one had the best banter. And then I also really liked The Exception to the Rule because it was, I don't know, I just thought it was cute. Okay, so now that I've got those out of the way, I have 2 more books, and I do have the physical copy. So the next one is An Unexpected Guest by Charles Osborne. It is an adaptation from Agatha Christie, which is why it says Agatha Christie at the top. This honestly looked like a bigger book than it was. I listened to it on audio as well as read along, and this, I did not realize that this was going to be more like cozy mystery, but I actually really liked it. I'm not usually a huge fan of cozy mysteries, but this one is about this man who he runs his car into a ditch on a really foggy night, so he just goes to the first house that he can find as refuge, and he finds a woman standing over her husband's dead body with a gun. So he is trying to figure out what happened, and also I don't know how to describe it. Let's see. What seems obvious isn't, and the story that unfolds is classic Christie, a tangled web of lies and cover-ups where nothing can be taken at face value, and the murderer, the motive, is the greatest mystery of all. So I thought that one was really good. I think it was a great introduction to Agatha Christie book. And this one is really old. The cover is all messed up. I thrifted this, but I thought this was really good. And the last book I read in January was a reread of, to me, a classic. It is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I was genuinely obsessed with this book when I was 17. So reading it again at 27 was such a weird thing, but I literally have like I forgot that I had annotations in this book. Like I underlined stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the underlines because I read it on my Kindle. I was basically trying to show someone how the Libby app worked, and The Fault in Our Stars was available, so it was easy for me to show her, and I was like, you know what, it's on here, I'll read it. So I reread it, and the first time I read this book I did not cry, but the first probably 5 times I read this book I didn't cry, but I definitely cried reading it this time. And I think being an adult, being a mother now, being in a relationship now, because I'd never been in a relationship at that point, so even though I knew what was gonna happen, I still cried. And I've always loved John Green's writing style, so nothing about that has changed. So I always feel smarter once I read his books, even though this is a young adult book. But now I think I'm gonna reread Looking for Alaska as an adult, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is classic hunter book and will always have a special place in my heart. So that is all I have for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. If you guys read any good books in January, let me know. I might check them out for February, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.